Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, crazy lady breaks 3 PCs to avoid work before upper management will do anything about it. Printers. Label printers everywhere. Poor little creatures. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Crazy lady breaks 3 PCs to avoid work before upper management will do anything about it. Disclaimer: this office was not at all cold. Nowhere near cold enough to need a space heater. There's always on lady that has to have one. First ticket for insane lady: desktop keeps overheating and shutting down. I am behind on work and missing deadlines because of this repeating issue that has resulted in lost work. She had a space heater under her desk pointing directly at the desktop. Because her feet get too cold in the aced office, I removed the unapproved heater, ran tests, the desktop was fine. Checked the event logs, and it had only ever shut down / crashed once from overheating. I explained that I only show one shutdown from overheating. Explained that you can't expect a PC to not overheat when heated, made notes in the ticket, delivered the space heater to facilities manager. She raised a big stink with her manager, who talked with the facilities manager and had the heater returned with an facilities approval tag. They didn't involve me at all, and the unit was placed exactly back in same spot. Second ticket for insane lady: very next day, desktop is overheating again. I cannot continue to work like this. Fix it or replace my desktop with a laptop. I show up and see the heater right back where it was. MFW, WAT.GIF. Desktop is off, and actual hardware damage was done to the motherboard this time. I replace it with a spare desktop of same make / model. I route all cabling and place desktop on desktop so it won't melt from space heater. She complains how the small form factor desktop takes up too much room on her double-sized cubicle desk space, and she should have a laptop. I explained that I didn't have a laptop available, and it actually takes up less space than a laptop anyhow once you factor in docking station. I explain again that the space heater killed the previous machine, and it should not be placed next to a heat source. I CC her manager on the ticket. I also let my manager know about the whole deal at this point because both cases were totally avoidable. Third ticket for insane lady: 2 days later on a Friday, new desktop is overheating and shutting down just like last one. I am weeks behind on project work at this point. Please give me a laptop that won't have this type of problem. I show up right after the ticket was created. She was packing up her stuff to leave and looked put out that I even showed up so soon to deal with the issue. The desktop was on the floor next to the space heater. I ask her why she moved it back there after killing the previous desktop, and after clearly explaining that it caused the problem. She wasn't having it, said it took up too much room and she should have a laptop anyhow. This time the desktop wouldn't even post. I noticed the heater was on the highest possible setting and was aimed directly at the PC this time. There was something about how visibly annoyed she was that I was going to fix it, like she was ready to take an early weekend since she couldn't work anyway. I explained I would have a replacement ready within 30 minutes, more to gauge her reaction than anything, and she looked even madder. Is it going to be a laptop? I don't see a replacement being worth it if it's just going to melt under my desk again. I agreed, under your desk is probably a bad idea. If she wanted a laptop, she would have to get her boss to approve the purchase of one. I took the dead desktop and brought back a replacement desktop. We got loads of spare used stock within 20 minutes. She was gone. CubeMate said she left for the day since IT wouldn't have a replacement ready anyhow. I documented everything in the ticket, called my manager. Manager didn't seem to care at all. He did stress that I was not to give her a laptop replacement unless her department approved and paid for it though. I was busy enough that this pissed me off. I walked over to HR and explained the situation so far to the HR rep. She said she would take to the user's manager about it. I didn't expect much. Sure enough, the following Monday, I had a ticket to deploy a brand new laptop to the user. Since the space heater was under the desk, and the way the cubicle desks were built, there was a space behind the tops for cable routing. This meant the majority of hot air from the heater would vent right up that space, which would feed directly into the air intake on the docking stations. Since that was the case, I deployed the docking station, laptop, etc. to the right of her monitor instead of the left where it would get hit with the heat. Once again she complained about it taking up too much room there. Can't we put it on the other side? I once again explained that heat will kill a laptop twice as fast as the 2 desktops she already killed. After closing out the ticket, I sent an email to her and CC'd her manager, my manager, and the HR lady. I explained the problems the space heater had caused, and that it was her refusal to listen that had caused damage to multiple pieces of company property. I let her know that moving the laptop to the other side of her desk would very likely damage the brand new laptop, and it should not be done, and would result in further delays in her ability to finish her projects. 4th ticket from insane lady. 2 days later, laptop will not turn on. Leaving for the day, please fix or replace. It was 10 a.m. on Wednesday. She wasn't there. Laptop was moved to left side of desk, space heater still on full blast. Pointing backwards. Without touching anything I called the facilities guy. He agreed that the heater shouldn't have ever been returned. Agreed that this woman could have burned down the whole goddamned building. Brand new laptop was toast. Took photos of everything. Emailed her boss, CC'd HR and my manager. Apparently her manager didn't even know she left for the day. She was 2 weeks behind on a big project, kept blaming IT for messing up her schedule with PCs that didn't work. I pulled the drive, dumped all the data, was able to easily show she hadn't done any work for said project at all in the last month. Never saw a inane lady again after that. Much stricter rules were put in place for space heaters after that, so at least I dealt with less overheating issues. It's just frustrating that I could tell pretty quickly she was full of shit, but couldn't really do anything about it. Printers. Label printers everywhere. Poor little creatures. So here is some backstory. We have about 12 printers in our environment. 3 of them print labels, the rest is printing normal stuff, the occasional 1,000-page printout left aside. Those 3 label printers are connected via USB to their computers, as no one else in this network needs to print something on the anyway. There is some programs talking to these printers like our ERP and the polling client for shipment labels, as the printers are used in our warehouse and used by the dispatch teams. Now to the problem. Starting yesterday in the morning, the labless start being printed with an offset of half a label length. And of course the settings in the printer driver are correct. We don't access these, we are not the IT, like you, DUUH. How coolly I suggest that someone had clicked the wrong thing, and instead of admitting a mistake. You know. Just type stuff in and hit any button they find, because that is what sane people would do. Yep, no. Anyway, we start troubleshooting, I check the settings and yes, the driver settings seem to be correct. Test printing, everything works fine, they thank me and off I go. 10 minutes later I get a call, the problem is there again. Labels get an offset of half a label length. Back to troubleshooting, test print works fine, but why do they get printed out wrong when using the ERP system? More testing and troubleshooting. Yes, it is because of the ERP system. Haha. Nope, it is not. ERP tech support tells me the polling client must have issues. So I check the polling client and what do you think? The settings are exactly what is suggested by the handbook. So I check the drivers, they are as well okay. Test print results show, program does work again as intended. Everyone is happy, except I still don't know what happened. As I now highly suspect a thing, I go back to my little chamber of doom and start spying on my colleagues who use the printer. Lo and behold. Not 10 minutes fly by and I see that someone is accessing the driver settings, mangling my poor settings. As you see, sometimes those know we don't access these settings, we are not the IT are of course that, big nice and warm BS. The guy doing these changes tried to troubleshoot himself because he did not get a printout he wanted, so he was looking all around the settings and changing stuff, and of course does not know what he is doing or what these settings should have looked like. All he had to do was hitting print, which he did not, he just thought he did. Some people should get training in computers and earn a certificate before they are allowed to access a computer, would make my job a lot easier. Anyway, thanks for reading. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.